The year 2012, Microsoft's home of the future is open once more. And for reasons I'm not too sure on, a company that seems to make t-shirts got inside access to it. So I've done 2 videos in this series before, and I'd recommend watching those because, well, it might give some context on how we got here. But if you don't, you know, that's fine. It's fine too. You know what this is, so let's just get into it.
All right, guys, we're here at Microsoft headquarters just outside of Seattle, and we're about to get a tour of the House of the Future from Jonathan. He's the Director of Strategic Prototyping for Microsoft, so let's go check it out.
We start off outside the home. This time, it has plants. That's a nice upgrade. But these aren't just ordinary plants. They have sensors powered by sunlight that tell the computer when they need more sunlight. Yes, much like in the 2005 showcase, sensors will be everywhere in the future. They will be just so cheap and so disposable that even plants get them. Now to unlock the front door, we don't have a fancy fingerprint sensor or a hand scanner. No, it's just through your phone. Wow. And this seemingly blows the minds of our hosts.
From your phone,
Come on in.
you can unlock your door.
Yep.
Now inside the home, well, it has a vibe. See, 24/7, all day, every day, the chorus of the Beastie Boys song Intergalactic plays. Not the whole song, just the chorus. Over and over and over again. We get to see this inductive charging tray. Now, wireless charging wasn't a huge thing in 2012, so I guess this was kind of cool. At the same time, we never really got trays that were like this, you know, that were massive and had OLEDs on them. Mr. Microsoft Man says that if he had a smartwatch, it could charge here and display this, you know, like how much he walks, but he doesn't have one, so it doesn't. We're told about Microsoft moving forwards, not backwards. The future of technology is the natural user interface. Now this is just PR speak for Connect. That's what they really mean here. Everything in the future will be powered by Xbox Connect. Voice commands have more or less taken over the home as well. No longer is this dial the center of your world. Now you just speak and the computer might listen. So in this house, the TV is held up with 2 rods that obviously obstruct the image. I mean, it looks futuristic to have a TV floating there, but is it really worth it if you have that there the whole time? Unlike before, it's not anticipated that the people of the future will still be storing media on hard drives. Instead, it's all through the internet.
But today, when you think about a music collection, right, it has something like a Zoom Music Pass.
Yeah, was that ever a thing? I don't believe you. I want to point out, by 2012, the 3rd gen Apple TV was already out. If you wanted to play Spotify on your television, you could just AirPlay it. And it only gets weirder, because Microsoft Man starts talking about advertising. He brings up how, hey, if you're on a web page, you might have an ad for a product you'll be interested in. But wouldn't it be great if while you're watching a TV show and you pause it, you could get an ad for everything that's on screen, for any show? Wouldn't that be great? But next up, we see a tiny Eiffel Tower set up on a display case. As far as it appears, this display case only has enough room to display one tiny Eiffel Tower. But when you put it in this little box, it can read your receipts or something and show images of where you were when you bought the thing. So we get to the kitchen, and it's a Microsoft kitchen. One new addition from last time is this glass panel with a projector.
And, we've got one of my favorite displays. It's this kitchen counter display, and basically it's a piece of glass that's being projected on. So why does that matter? Well, if I want to, I can clean it with Windex.
It's kind of weird. Like, it seems to mostly display health information in this demo, like your medical records, what diseases you have. But, and here's the best part. If any disease you have finds itself with new treatments or medical breakthroughs, well, then your Microsoft Glass Lab will alert you about it. And then you can download a .xml file of all the treatment information, drag it to your body, and see if it makes you all good and healthy. After that, we move on to the kitchen table, and we hear about RFIDs again. Remember last time? Remember RFIDs?
They use RFIDs, or radio frequency ID chips. Get used to the terminology, you're going to be hearing a lot about them.
The table has the same display. It tells you the information of how to cook. This might seem like the low point of the showcase, and that's because it is. And it only goes downhill as we go to the digital bulletin board. You know what? This was here last time, and I don't care anymore. I don't care. Then we move into the living room, the real, a fun place of the house. It's the fun room. Microsoft Man sets up a hypothetical homework situation, and it requires using this tablet to study anatomy. He shows us the impressive technology of putting a tablet on a TV. Want to point out, this is already a thing by 2012. But there's more, luckily. The walls also display additional information pertaining to the homework. This is mildly cool until you realize it's not cool. Microsoft was really into the second screen experience during this time. I mean, a lot of people were. The idea was, why use one screen when you can have two? And you just have to constantly shift attention between them. Wouldn't that be amazing? But see, in the year of 2012, you just had the tablet and the TV. In the future, you'd have the tablet, the TV, and the wall. And you gotta just spin around to look at it all. But the fun doesn't stop there in the fun room. If you happen to have a model of the human brain laying around, your table can scan it and tell you about the brain. Microsoft Man tells us about his imaginary son and how he just had an imaginary birthday party. So he sets the room to that theme, the birthday theme. Keep in mind, Intergalactic is still playing. On the table, we can control tiny planes, but it has to be done through good old Kinect technology, so this is what it looks like. Next off, into the bedroom. At first, this room looks not futuristic at all, but then Microsoft himself tells us that the walls are covered in OLEDs. The idea is that since OLEDs can be flexible, transparent, and light, you can line the walls with them. They can become wallpaper, and OLED wallpaper means it can display anything you want. Finally, we move into the man cave, and it looks like every other room in the house. More Zune Music Pass features. We get to see more second screen stuff, but this time it's by pushing something from the TV to the table. And I have to ask, how exactly did they expect this to work? Would a table manufacturer adopt Microsoft services and policies? Like, what if the resolution wasn't up to par with what people expected? Would you just buy a whole new table? How much does this cost? Just lining it with OLEDs, especially in 2012. This table probably costs like $100,000. This table is worth more than I will ever have. And we end with a demonstration of fancy photo features. I say fancy photo features, but it's Google Maps. They show Google Maps. To be fair, it's slightly different. Like, they stitch the photos together and they can make a 3D model. It looks like a Nintendo 64 game, but it's cool, I guess. This technology did actually find a place in the consumer market. Eventually. It's called Flight Simulator. I mean, basically the same technology. So that's kind of cool. And that's the end. That's the big closer. That's what they... Overall, this 2012 showcase repeats a lot of the things we've seen before, and the stuff it doesn't, is mostly stupid. I have to imagine that there's a reason the home of the future isn't a project Microsoft is that invested in anymore. Because if you have a home showing off tech of the future, and even 2 decades later we don't have a lot of that tech, well, maybe you're a little off base with your predictions. Either way, I'm glad that we had this house around. As a child, I saw this as the defining traits of a home of the future. This is what I would have. So for that, I salute you, Microsoft, man. I salute you, Microsoft Home. And I salute you, most of all, Florida postcard on the digital bulletin board. This video was sponsored by me. Go watch the other channel. I have another channel. Go watch it. Go watch the other channel.
But if purpose was it don't matter, logically meant by everyone, all the rest were better with the rest. What if purpose was it